Hey, this is Greg, and I'm making this video to get into all of the different health challenges that I've gone through with cancer. I've covered it to some extent in a few different videos, but I've never really been able to get into all of it. And actually, I can't even get into all of it in this specific video. I'm really going to be trying to make a lot of other videos with some of the things I've gone through. But in a nutshell, because a lot of people don't know who I am, and those that do know who I am have never really heard the whole story. I was actually diagnosed in 2016 with melanoma. It was on my shoulder blade here. I didn't even know I had it. I had my shirt off. I was outside. My mom came over and she's like, "Man, what's that on your back?" And I'm like, "I don't know." She said, "It doesn't look right. You should go get it checked out." So I went and I got it looked at. And, whenever you go to a dermatologist, they don't know. And they don't do anything really other than just cutting a little bit off to send it out for a test. So they did that. And about 5 days later, I got a call back and they said, "You have melanoma. You need to come back in for surgery." And so that surgery, they actually do a big cut around the whole area. It's a pretty deep removal at that point. And then they also send that back out. And when they sent that back out, it came back and they said that it was clear, but because it was stage 2 of a skin cancer with melanoma, they wanted me to just go to a doctor here in Orlando to look at and talk to. They looked at it. They said, "We think we got it all in time. Your chances of having anything are like 0.000 to nothing." I mean, they didn't expect that it was going to be a problem. They said, "Just come in here once a year, get a chest x-ray, check it out." But of course, I didn't even go in for a chest x-ray. I wasn't concerned. I never put 2 plus 2 together. And I was hitting the gym really hard. I was working out, and I was taking creatine at the time. This was actually about a little over 2 years later. And I got a lump under my right arm. I woke up one day and I thought it was just nothing major at first, so I didn't do anything about it. And then it didn't really hurt for a while. It was just a lump. And so I kind of let it go. I didn't even tell my wife because I didn't want to freak out and make a big deal about it. And I've been in the nutritional supplement industry most of my life. So I've dealt with different people that I've interviewed over the years that talked about things you can use for cancer treatment and everything else. So I started taking a lot more nutritional supplements. I didn't really think that there was anything that was a problem until I started having some pain. It hurt me for a few days and it went away. And so I started getting nervous, and my wife finally found out, and she's like, "Man, you better go get that thing checked out." And so I went and I got it looked at, and this doctor, he says, "I can't really tell you what it is." He says, "You're going to have to get a biopsy on that." So he made a appointment for me at Advent Health. I went and got a biopsy, and in complete shock, they called me like 5 days later, and they said, "You got metastatic melanoma." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me." I was in complete shock. So I went to go see a doctor after that, and he said, "We'd like to maybe do surgery on it immediately." And he sent me to a surgeon that could do that. And the surgeon guy that I talked to said, "We could take that out, but there's a chance because of where it is." He said, "I'm young, I'm athletic, I play a lot of sports with my kids and everything, that there could be a risk that it could cause permanent arm damage," which made me nervous. And I also didn't have good insurance at the time either. Nothing was going to get covered. So this was going to put me into a financial disaster trying to get coverage and get this treated. Long story short, we decided that we would go and get immunotherapy. Good, bad, or indifferent, immunotherapy has been the most successful cancer treatment they've given ever, and mostly with melanoma. Prior to immunotherapy, almost anybody that got melanoma, if they caught it quick enough, they got it removed, maybe they were all right, but if not, they usually died from it. That's the problem with melanoma. It spreads through the body fast, it goes all over the place, and it can kill you. And so I got really nervous. I got scared. I didn't know what to do, so I signed up to do immunotherapy. My first treatment began January 8th of 2020. And the first 4 treatments, they said they wanted to use 2 forms of immunotherapy, Opdivo and Yervoy. And the doctor I was going to, he said, "It could be a little risky. You could get some side effects." I didn't really know what to expect. After the first couple treatments, I didn't really feel anything. But what happened was my liver enzymes started going way up. And after the 3rd treatment, at the end of February, early March, my liver enzymes went so high. When I went in there, they thought I was in liver failure. They sent me across the street. He says, "You're not going to be able to go home this weekend." He thought I was going to have to get liver transplant. They stopped all of the immunotherapy treatments. They put me on a high dose of prednisone. Prednisone counteracts the immunotherapy. And so that's basically what happened. I did not have to get a liver transplant, thank God. The doctor that we saw, he said, "It's bad. Those numbers are as bad as they can get," basically. He said, "But I think you might not need a liver transplant. Let's see what happens." He signed me up to do a couple more tests on my liver to see what was going on. And after a few months, the liver enzymes got a lot better, and I recovered from the liver surgery. I did not do any other immunotherapy after that. Then in April, the doctor said, "We need to try to remove that tumor." And it did shrink a little bit, not significantly, but I'd say maybe 30%. And it was probably about the size of almost like a golf ball or something. It definitely got pretty big. And so in April of 2020, they removed it, and it came back clear. And the doctor came down the hallway, and he was ready to do cartwheels. He was so excited. He said, "Look at this." He said, "It came back. No viable evidence of metastatic melanoma detected." And then I did 3 scans after that, and the scans were all clear. And so I felt great. I was like, man, I defeated it. Thank God, I'm going to live. There's not going to be any problems. And I never really thought after that I was going to battle it, because I took all these nutritional supplements. I was doing everything I could do to fight this thing, including prayer, Psalm 91, you name it, everything. It was a long story short. In October, the doctor that I was seeing here in Orlando, he said, "I don't want you to get another scan for 6 months. He said, "You're getting some radiation from the scans, and I don't want to see you keep getting exposed to that. Since the 3 scans were clear," he says, "I'm going to wait 6 months. Those 6 months, the first period was supposed to be April 20th of 2021. And so what happened was, though, after I had that tumor removed, I kept shaving under my arm because I had a big scar there that needed to heal, and I wanted to keep an eye on everything that was going on. So I would shave under my armpits. And in early 2021, I was like, maybe January, I had a couple things that were down there near the scar, and I was like, I didn't know for sure if it was cancer coming back or if it was just like hair follicles that were plugged or zits or whatever. And my wife, thank God, she got very proactive for me. She says, "You better not wait until April to get that scan." She says, "I think you need to call up and get it done sooner. Even if there's nothing wrong, you need to just make sure that everything's good." So I did. I called Advent Health, and I told them I had a scan that was supposed to be done, and I wanted to move it up. So they moved it up to March 23rd of 2021. It was a Tuesday, and they did the scan. They called me back 2 days later, which was the Thursday, and they said, "We see something in your brain. We're not sure what it is. We need to get an immediate MRI." So they made an urgent MRI appointment for me on that Friday. I went and I got the MRI done, and it wasn't until Sunday night on my online forum I could see the results. They don't give you the immediate results. I could see the results, but I'm not a doctor. I couldn't interpret what those results specifically meant. So I didn't even tell my wife. There was nothing I knew to say until the next day when I talked to the doctor. Long story short, I talked to this doctor. He calls me Monday, the 28th. The 29th. He called me Monday, the 29th of March. And he says, "You have a large tumor in your brain that's hemorrhaging." And he said, "You need immediate surgery to get this thing out." He said, "I coordinated it for you to get into the hospital." So he had me check into Advent Health on Tuesday, the next day, for urgent ICU treatment on this tumor that was in my head. When I checked in on that Tuesday, they ran another MRI, and they said that the size of the tumor in my head practically doubled in size from the Friday MRI to the Tuesday MRI. And it's hard to see. I'll post some of the things here in a second, but here's the scar. It was the size of a giant egg hemorrhaging. Anybody that knows anything about melanoma, especially when it goes to the brain, and especially when it's a large-sized tumor like that that's bleeding, your chances of survival are very slim. It is so close to death. If I waited until April 20th for that 6-month scan, I would have been dead. If I waited even 3 more days or 4 more days, I probably would have been dead. Thank God they operated on me when they operated on me. I was in the hospital for 5 days after that. So anyway, I'm going to show the pictures at the end of this video. It'd be easier to show you some of the hospital pictures at the end. Basically, that's what I've gone through. It's been such a crazy deal that I've been dealing with here for the last couple years. It started at the end of 2019 in November when they actually found the tumor under the arm, and then it was March of 2021, at the end of March, when they found the tumor in my head. After they removed that, thank God, they ran more MRIs and they did not see any other evidence of anything else connected to that melanoma scattered around the brain, which thank God, because that's a big thing that also happens with melanoma. If it gets to the brain, typically a lot of tumors go all over the place. So anyway, the hospital, they said, listen, we want to do a radiation treatment on you. They wanted to do gamma knife radiation. It's very specific. It's not something that radiates the entire body. You go back in for another MRI, they put a face mask on your head, and they test it, and they target exactly where they think they need to radiate you, which they did. And they did that here April 21st, I believe, of 2021 is when they actually did the gamma knife radiation treatment. Since then, I went to Moffitt Center over in Tampa, and I have been going there ever since. I still go to Moffitt Center. I go every 2 weeks, and they do all kinds of tests. I'm back on immunotherapy. I've been doing Opdivo treatments. I don't do two. And Moffitt Center, they basically said they would have tried to put me back on the immunotherapy after I had the problems, even though I had issues with the liver. They felt like there was a way for me to get back on it without having those type of issues to that level. And so that's kind of what's been going on. And that's at least what I wanted to share right now. So anybody that knows who I am, this is the deal. And anybody who has never heard it before, you get a chance to finally know some of what I've gone through. There's so much more I could say, but at least that's the main thing. Those are the big stories that I wanted to share with you. Anyway, here's some of the pictures you can see of what I've gone through. All right, this one's a picture of me right after they took the tumor out. This is what it looked like after with the scar. This was just a couple days after the whole ordeal. This is what it looked like when I got home, maybe 5 or 6 days after that. And then I'm going to pull up the gamma knife radiation photos. All right, here's what that thing looks like. It's like a Darth Vader helmet they put on your head. It weighs like, I don't know, 10 pounds. This thing's crazy. This is me with part of it on. They actually run you through the MRI with that thing on. So that's it there. There's a picture with me wearing the entire thing. So anyway, that's just some of what I can show you. There's so many more pictures, but hopefully what I've showed you so far will at least enlighten you and show you what I've been through. Thank you so much for watching.